Rentaru had faced 100 heartbreaks when confessing to girls. Hoping to change his luck, he turns to the Shrine of Love. During a break at school, he opens up to Asakawa, a girl he has feelings for. At first, she praises him, only to later express her disdain at the idea of dating him. This shatters Rentaru's spirit. The next day, his friend, whom we'll call Sidekick, tries to lift his spirits. Sidekick playfully mocks Rentaru's continuous failures, jokingly dubbing him a flirt hero. Welcome back to Anikazu, the ultimate destination for all your anime insights and stories. Today, we're diving into a tale of love, choices, and destiny, one that'll have you questioning the very nature of soulmates. Buckle up, because this story is a roller coaster of emotions. But before we start, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to join the Anikazu family and get ready for a journey through the world of anime like never before. Without further ado, let's get started. A nostalgic journey into the past unveils that Rentaru's initial brush with love and confession came astonishingly early. At the tender age of 8, Sidekick, eyebrows raised in astonishment, labels him as the flirt legend of their time. Yet, deep beneath the layers of youthful confessions, Rentaru's true yearning is simple and pure. He dreams of finding that special someone with whom he can interlace his fingers, feel the warmth of their palm, and sense the rhythmic cadence of their heartbeat. Sidekick, finding it hard to fathom Rentaru's romantic misadventures, especially given his undeniable popularity and striking good looks, playfully teases and flirts with him. With a wink and a grin, Sidekick advises him to keep his chin up and navigate the tumultuous waves of high school love with strength and resilience. Distraught, Rentaru visits the Shrine of Love, pleading for a high school girlfriend. A mysterious voice offers assistance. To his surprise, the deity of the shrine reveals himself. The god assures Rentaru that his true love awaits in high school. Misunderstandings ensue when the god describes the destined girl as hot, leading Rentaru to think he's discussing food. The deity elaborates on the concept of soulmates, explaining the electrifying connection they feel upon meeting. However, men realize this connection gradually. Rentaru, with a hint of skepticism clouding his eyes, delves deeper, seeking more clarity and truth. The god, taking a deep breath, lays bare a profound revelation. Not every individual walking this earth is destined to find their soulmate. In the grand tapestry of life, only a select few, those touched by fate's fortunate brush, are preordained such a unique connection. But what follows next leaves Rentaru's heart pounding and his mind racing. The god, with a weighty pause, discloses the unimaginable. Rentaru doesn't merely have one soulmate waiting in the wings. No, there are 100 potential soulmates scattered throughout his high school, each one tied to him by the strings of fate. Struggling to digest this overwhelming information and with suspicion brewing in his mind, Rentaru, with a mischievous glint in his eye, half-jokingly warns the deity. He threatens that should this revelation prove to be a fabrication, he won't hesitate to set the very shrine they stand in ablaze, ensuring the god feels the heat of his wrath. A mere month following that profound revelation, Rentaru steps into the bustling corridors of high school, armed with excitement and apprehension. But fate, always unpredictable, wastes no time. As he navigates the sea of new faces on his inaugural day, an unintended collision with two young girls interrupts his stride. Their eyes lock, and in that fleeting moment, an electric connection surges between them, one that words struggle to encapsulate. Rentaru's heart quickens, and the deity's prophecy resonates in his mind. Could these be two of his fabled soulmates? With curiosity piqued and hopes heightened, he musters the courage to approach them. The girl with vibrant pink hair, playing up her distress, theatrically clutches her ankle, seemingly injured from their encounter. A pang of guilt crashes over Rentaru, the weight of possibly harming one of his potential soulmates threatening to drown him. However, as he hovers over her with sincere worry painted on his face, the pink-haired maiden's eyes dance with mischief and joy. She revels in the genuine concern he displays, perhaps seeing it as affirmation of their predestined bond. Despite the unfamiliarity, a pang of guilt strikes Ajo as he witnesses the girl in apparent agony. The pain he inadvertently caused a stranger burdens his conscience. As this drama unfolds, another girl, having watched the unfolding scene, experiences a surge of jealousy. Desiring a slice of the attention, she too artfully claims to have sprained her foot. With each feigned injury, Ajo's self-reproach swells, and he begins to reprimand himself, almost theatrically smacking his forehead in anguish. Detecting his genuine distress, both girls swiftly shed their charade and rise to his aid, their faces etched with concern. But, as if by instinct, they once again descend into their ruse, contorting with exaggerated pain. Recognizing their need for attention and comfort, Ajo, ever the gallant knight, offers to whisk them away to the infirmary in his arms. Yet, as he bears their weight, an uncanny realization dawns on him. Rather than being a mere burden, these girls seem to be subtly offering him support, creating a curious interplay between the savior and the saved. On their way, the pink-haired girl nudges closer to Ajo, claiming she needs more stability. This leads to a spat between the two girls about who is truly more off balance. The situation peaks in absurdity when both girls hang on to Ajo simultaneously, leaving him in sheer disbelief. Ajo insists they prioritize the infirmary, and amidst the chaos, they exchange introductions. They're Inda Karain and Hanazono Hakari, both from Ajo's class. Their conversation gets interrupted by two passing girls who share a local legend. If one confesses love while presenting a four-leaf clover from the school courtyard, the love is bound to be reciprocated. Hearing this, both Inda and Hanazono suddenly remember urgent tasks they had to attend to. After the bell rings, signaling the end of a long school day, Ajo finds himself sinking into his desk chair, musing about his unexpected foray into being the teacher's assistant. It was supposed to be a simple task, but it had morphed into an extended, almost comical, marathon for those elusive contact lenses. The irony wasn't lost on him. While the whole world might be in the search of grand answers, here he was, on all fours, squinting for a tiny piece of transparent material. These unforeseen 4 hours meant he lost the prime opportunity to reconnect with the two girls from the morning's encounter. Disappointment tinged his thoughts until, by chance, his gaze drifted towards a window. There, in the waning sunlight, he spotted the two figures. They were engrossed, heads bowed, sifting through the greenery, fervently searching for the fabled four-leaf clover. A curious parallel formed in Ajo's mind. Just as he had committed hours searching for something so small yet significant, these girls were exhibiting a similar dedication. He couldn't help but wonder, was this tireless hunt for the legendary clover an indirect testament to their feelings for him? The thought warmed his heart and made the exhaustive search for the contact lenses seem worth every second. Walking across the school's courtyard, Ajo musters up the courage to confront the peculiar situation head-on. Spotting Inda, engrossed in her thoughts and seemingly distant, he makes his way towards her. Her startled expression is evident as he draws closer, her fingers fidgeting with a clover leaf. Inda, Ajo begins, his voice gentle, trying to read her. "I noticed you looking for the clover earlier. Is there a specific reason?" She looks away momentarily, her usual confident demeanor wavering. "It's just a silly superstition," she deflects, attempting to sound casual. But Ajo isn't fooled. He sees the unease behind her eyes and senses the weight of an untold story. In Hanazono, he probes further, wondering about the other half of the intriguing duo. "She had to take a bathroom break," Inda says a bit too quickly, her eyes darting away, betraying her nervousness. Seeing the tension in her posture, Ajo hopes to break the ice. "You look like you could use a drink. Can I get you something from the vending machine?" he offers, pointing towards the nearby dispenser. Her first instinct is to snap back, the remnants of their earlier tension making her hesitate. But seeing his genuine concern, she lets out a sigh. "All right," she responds, her tone softening. "But only if it's a soda." Ajo nods, feeling a silent victory. Their initial clash of personalities might have been rocky, but he senses a budding understanding. This could be the start of smoothing out the wrinkles in their complicated relationship. Soon after, Hanazono reemerges, curious about Ajo's late presence at school. He offers her a drink, but she's focused on the intimate implications of sharing it. As they bicker over the drink size, an accidental spill ruins any chance of an indirect kiss. Hanazono, in an unexpected turn, takes Ajo's hand and confesses her feelings, claiming it was love at first sight and hinting that she's not the only admirer. Overwhelmed, Ajo is processing this when Inda interrupts, spilling an assortment of juices she had brought. An altercation ensues between the two girls, culminating in Inda's ambiguous stance towards Ajo. After an intense moment filled with both tension and romance, Ajo finds himself reflecting on the nature of fate, love, and choices. It's a predicament that no one would ever want to be in. In a heart-to-heart with the deity of love, Ajo learns the gravity of his situation. The revelation that choosing one soulmate might lead to the death of the other weighs heavily on him. He grapples with the idea of polyamory, considering it as a solution, but the reactions of Inda and Hanazono make it clear that the path won't be easy. However, Ajo's earnest intentions shine through when he presents both girls with four-leaf clovers, a symbol of the effort he took to understand their feelings. This gesture speaks volumes about his commitment and affection for both of them. Hanazono's willingness to share Ajo's love is a testament to her deep feelings for him, and while Inda's initial resistance may seem cold, her eventual acceptance of the situation reveals her own love and maturity. The decision to embark on this unconventional relationship isn't without its challenges. But Ajo, Hanazono, and Inda are united in their determination to find happiness together. As the story progresses, we're reminded that Ajo's journey is far from over. With 98 more soulmates yet to be discovered, his life promises to be filled with love, heartbreak, and growth. Ajo stops in front of a lamppost and chats with it. As he does so, a boy comments about finally having a girlfriend after facing many rejections. He's excited that he'll be attending school with her, something he has always wished for. As they approach, others find it odd that Ajo is talking to a lamppost. However, he brushes it off, attributing his distracted state to his newfound relationship. The girl finds this endearing and offers to talk whenever he feels lonely, but in typical tsundere fashion, she stops mid-sentence and acts distant. Love triangles, that's basic. Quadrangles, not even close. Dive into a world where love knows no bounds, and one boy's quest for a simple kiss turns into an epic adventure of romance and hilarity. Hanazono approaches and takes the girl's hand, making Ajo blush and lose composure. He recalls that most men love the simple act of holding hands. Not wanting to be left out, he reaches for Inda's hand. Inda, however, claims she's just humoring him to gain his trust, intending to shock him later on. As it turns out, Inda is an electrodeer with electric capabilities. Though she's standoffish, deep down, she has genuine feelings for Ajo. The feelings are mutual, with both Ajo and Hanazono thinking of it as the happiest day of their lives. The trio chat about the lovely weather, catching the attention of a passing lady. Surprised that the younger generation is talking about the weather, she tries to address the girls formally by their last names. Hanazono, however, asks to be addressed by her first name, Hikari. Ajo, embarrassed, obliges and is called Rentaro in return. Inda hesitates but eventually follows suit, asking to be called Karen. They continue their banter with first names, drawing attention from other students. Upon entering the school, they witness a student fleeing from the strict vice principal. Haraki mentions that the vice principal will chase rule breakers relentlessly. Once caught, the vice principal administers a punishing kiss that causes physical damage due to its intensity. Because of her speed and methods, she's nicknamed the Sonic Witch. The conversation takes a romantic turn when Hikari asks Rentaro if he's ever been kissed. Since he hasn't, Hikari and Karen subtly compete to be his first. During lunch, Hikari offers Rentaro some of her homemade omelet, which he praises as the best he's ever had. Karen, not wanting to be outdone, offers a cookie but accidentally pokes Rentaro in the eye. The scene ends with comedic tension, hinting at the love triangle's complications. With the plan set, Rentaro puts it into motion. He turns his back, blaring the song My First Kiss, while Hikari and Karen decide their positions based on the roll of the dice. They then send him a message to signify they're ready. Rentaro, with anticipation, rolls his dice, counting the seconds corresponding to the number shown. He rolls again and puts the mask over his eyes. Using the second roll's number to determine his starting point, he begins to slowly walk towards one of the girls, the tension palpable. Not knowing who he'll approach first makes the situation even more exhilarating for the trio. Relying on his senses and the beats of the song, he finally reaches one of the girls, leaning in for a soft kiss. Then, he carefully moves to the other side, giving the second girl an equally gentle kiss. When the song ends and the mask comes off, Rentaro is greeted by the blushing faces of both Hikari and Karen. He's unable to discern who he kissed first, and neither girl gives away any hints. The atmosphere is filled with a mixture of excitement, nervousness, and satisfaction. Though the girls had been competing fiercely for Rentaro's attention and affection earlier, this experience creates a bond between them. They realize that instead of letting jealousy and rivalry dominate their interactions, they can share unique moments together as friends and as part of Rentaro's life. The day continues, with the trio navigating through school, their friendships deepening, and the complexities of their unique relationship becoming both a source of amusement and of genuine affection. They face challenges, make memories, and learn that love can take many forms. But amidst all this, the mystery of the first kiss remains unsolved, adding a playful undertone to their interactions. It seems that each attempt at Rentaro's plan ends in some unexpected mishap or awkward situation. Whether it's a gust of wind, a curious cat, or simple misunderstandings, the universe seems to be conspiring against their attempt to have this mystery kiss. After the third failed attempt, Rentaro, Hikari, and Karen collapse on the grassy school grounds, exhausted from the emotional roller coaster they've been through. The afternoon sun casts a golden hue on them, and the trio share a moment of laughter at the absurdity of their situation. Rentaro found himself amidst an emotional whirlwind. The setting sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, providing a serene backdrop to the intense conversation unfolding between him and his friends. "Why is it so hard for us to just have a simple kiss?" he lamented, his hands animatedly describing his frustration. From the side, Karen's eyes gleamed with mischief. A smirk formed on her lips as she retorted, "Perhaps, Rintaro, the cosmos is trying to send us a message. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe the universe is whispering that it's not quite the right moment for such an act." While Rintaro was still processing Karen's statement, Hikari, with her perpetually radiant aura, decided to join the conversation. Her voice, always filled with hope, added another layer of perspective. "Or maybe," she began, her eyes reflecting the hues of the setting sun, "it's the universe's way of reminding us that sometimes the journey, the story leading up to an event, is far more poignant than the event itself." Rintaro, absorbing the wisdom of his friends, took a deep breath, letting the air fill his lungs before exhaling slowly. His face, which earlier mirrored confusion and frustration, now showed signs of realization. "You might be onto something," he responded thoughtfully. "All this time, we've been chasing after this one singular moment, this one kiss. And in doing so, perhaps we've overlooked the beauty of the moments leading up to it, the joy in our shared experiences and the memories we've been creating together." The trio, each lost in their own reflections, allowed a peaceful silence to envelop them. The world around them seemed to stand still as they stood shoulder to shoulder, gazing at the horizon. It was in that tranquil moment that they truly grasped the essence of their journey, understanding that sometimes the build-up, the anticipation, and the journey towards a goal can hold more beauty, more depth, and be far more rewarding than the achievement of the goal itself. They then decide to spend the rest of the day just enjoying each other's company, walking around the school, sharing stories, and having a good time. The subject of the first kiss becomes a fond memory of their adventurous day, and they decide to let fate take its course. In the days and weeks that follow, their relationship continues to deepen and grow. The unique bond they share becomes the talk of the school, but the trio doesn't mind. They've found something special, and they cherish every moment together. And one day, when they least expect it, amidst a quiet moment shared on the school rooftop, the long-awaited first kiss finally happens. But who kissed whom first remains a secret, one that they decide to keep just between the three of them. As the sun began its descent, the day's antics left Rintaro exasperated. He exhaled deeply, feeling the weight of the day's events. Who knew a simple kiss would be this complicated? He mused. Kiran rolled her eyes. That plan was doomed from the start. Hiraki shot back. It would have worked if not for you. The air around them thickened as the tension built. The duo's bickering grew more intense until Hikari blurted, "You're always hurting Rintaro." Kiran's glare grew icier. "He's mine," she retorted. Rintaro, caught in the middle, raised his hands. "Stop, both of you. This is on me. If I'd just kissed one of you, none of this would have happened." Overwhelmed with guilt, he sprinted away, cursing himself for being such a clueless boyfriend. Concerned, Hikari and Karen pursued him but stopped in their tracks as they spotted the vice director closing in on Rintaro. In an unexpected twist, she lunged at him, her intentions clear. Just in the nick of time, Karen pulled her away, pinning her down in a wrestling hold. "Unhand me. That's against the rules," the vice director protested. Karen smirked, so is planting a French kiss on a student. Hikari, seizing the moment, theatrically opened the window, feigning a call to the education department about the perverted teacher. This charade sent the vice director into a panic, revealing her bizarre secret of hiring young escorts for her odd kissing escapades. Rintaro, free from the vice director's clutches, was met with concerned looks from the girls. Trying to ease the tension, he confessed that he staged the day's events to help them get along. In a heartfelt moment, he shared his fear of his first kiss being the wedge between them. Moved by his sentiments, the girls suggested a solution. Hikari proposed, "Why not share the first kiss?" The trio pondered over the logistics. "I initially thought of it," Rintaro mused, "but figured you both wouldn't be on board." A shared look between the girls spoke volumes. As they slowly leaned in, Rintaro's quirky side emerged, likening the moment to a UFO summoning. Amidst giggles, the trio shared a memorable first kiss. The next day at the library, Rintaro found the girls engrossed in cookbooks. Hikari was eager to expand her culinary skills beyond omelets, while Karen was engrossed in recipes to grab your boyfriend by the stomach. A playful tug-of-war over the book ensued. Rintaro stepped in, reminiscing about their shared kiss, hoping to remind them of the bond they shared. Amidst the lively atmosphere of the library, with the girls engrossed in their spirited back and forth, Rintaro's wandering eyes found solace in the aged cover of a book simply titled Love. The gentle wear on its spine and the softened edges hinted at the countless readers who had sought its wisdom. Drawn to it, Rintaro extended his hand. As his fingers skimmed the surface, they unexpectedly met with the delicate touch of a mysterious girl. Their worlds momentarily merged as their gazes intertwined, each set of eyes unveiling depth and tales yearning to be told. An undeniable, electric charge passed between them, forging a fleeting yet powerful connection that hinted at the dawn of a new chapter in their lives. From unexpected intrusions to the ever-elusive quest for a simple kiss, today's journey through 100 girlfriends that really love you truly delivered another roller coaster of emotions. Who knew love could be so complicated and comical at the same time? As Rintaro navigates this overwhelming world of affection, we can't help but wonder what lies ahead for our protagonist and his endearing entourage. A monologue commences, with the princess elaborating that her fate was predetermined from her very birth. She was destined to lead a life of solitude. She had already come to terms with this destiny. Then, the scene shifts back to the library where the two of them accidentally collide, feeling that peculiar jolt once again. Rintaro senses that this girl is yet another one of his numerous kindred spirits. However, he was unprepared to encounter another one of them at that particular moment. Consequently, the girl begins to depart. He suggests that she could take the book instead. She opens her book to a specific page and requests Rintaro to read something from it. He discovers that it is written that she is the proprietor of those lamps. He inquires if she serves as the librarian there, and she responds by presenting another passage from the book. She confirms that Rintaro's assumption was correct. When he notices her silence, he recalls that talking is prohibited in the library. He deduces that the girl is communicating in this manner because of the library's rules. She then gestures towards passages in the book again and asks what he is searching for. Rintaro communicates through gestures, expressing his interest in romance novels. Subsequently, she questions why he isn't speaking, but he returns the same inquiry to her. The girl points to passages in the book, apologizing for having annoyed him, and confesses her difficulty in conversing with people. So, he initially considers calling someone else for assistance. However, instead, he approaches her and offers an apology, admitting that he hadn't realized she was shy. He then asks for her help once more and seeks book recommendations, particularly focusing on romance novels, his preferred genre. He explains his desire to find a romance book with a satisfying ending where the characters overcome difficulties and live happily ever after. Finally, he requests a suggestion from the girl, and her eyes light up when she realizes she can be of help. However, she becomes overly enthusiastic and selects more books than necessary. This startles him, but she quickly apologizes for her overenthusiasm and suggests he take the book he wants. Rintaro insists on reading all the books since she went through the trouble of selecting them. He proceeds to borrow them using his library card, but when he asks for the card, the girl explains that it would take a week to issue a new one. Rintaro regrets having to deal with such bureaucracy. The librarian clutches his chosen book and approaches him, offering to lend it to him. Initially, Rintaro insists that the book is hers and not from the library. However, she persists in extending the book towards him, and he realizes that she is indeed lending it to him. Rintaro feels delighted and realizes that he hasn't asked the girl's name yet. She presents her identification, and he reads her name, Yoshimoto Shizuka. Furthermore, he discovers that she is from the same class as him. Rintaro apologizes for not remembering her and explains that he hasn't memorized everyone's faces yet. Hikari then takes out a book that aims to help increase femininity, piquing Korane's interest. Korane joins them and asks if they are still engrossed in cookbooks. However, Hikari clarifies that she was actually exploring books that could teach her how to make him happier, while Korane admits she was merely seeking to expand her repertoire of dishes. This revelation stirs Rintaro emotionally. Upon returning home, Rintaro starts reading the book that Shizuka had borrowed. The book recounts the tale of Princess Lo and her loyal knight, Kamakuru, and the challenges that befall their love story. The princess emphasizes the importance of Kamakuru's unwavering loyalty and decorum, bestowing upon him the title of a knight. He solemnly pledges to protect her at any cost, marking the beginning of their journey together. One fateful day, a dragon threatens Princess Lo's life, and her devoted knight rushes to her rescue, defeating the monstrous creature. In the aftermath, they share shy glances, signaling the start of their transformation from princess and knight into a couple. However, Kamakuru's family intends to marry the princess to a man of higher status than him. He attempts to reach her to prevent this, but he is intercepted before he can take action. Kamakuru reminds her of his vow to protect her with his life and contemplates how they can defy their destined separation. Rentaro finds himself rooting for their love, hoping that destiny won't harm it. As the first volume of the book comes to an end, Rentaro is left without knowledge of the rest of the story. After reading, he ponders the concept of fate once more and recalls that soulmates must stay together, or else they face dire consequences. The following day, he greets Shizuka and expresses his gratitude for the book, mentioning that he read the story in a single night. Rentaro notices that Shizuka has a book with an identical cover to the one she had borrowed. Shizuka lends him this book as well, and Rentaro thanks her for providing him with the continuation of the story. He expresses his eagerness to continue reading but feels compelled to find a way to repay her kindness first. So, Rentaro asks Shizuka to accompany him to a particular place, while Hikari and Kurain continue their usual quarrel. Along the way, he buys Shizuka a soda as a token of gratitude for lending him the books. He inquires if she typically reads a lot, and she nods in agreement. This revelation helps him understand why she's familiar with such a fantastic series like the one he was reading. He explains that he's read many novels before, but this one is unique because, in addition to featuring a captivating love story, it's wrapped in an epic adventure. Rentaro admits to panicking when Kamakuru and Lo had a disagreement in the story. Shizuka reveals that this is also her favorite part and confesses that she has immersed herself in those texts numerous times. Rentaro now comprehends why she always seems to find the right sentences to respond to him. She's genuinely well acquainted with the book, allowing her to locate sentences quickly. Rentaro tells Shizuka that he hasn't read the same book with such intensity yet and finds it fascinating. However, Shizuka modestly dismisses the praise, explaining that reading the book has become a natural habit for her over time. The fantasy world within the book has been her only constant companion because she's never had a real friend. She expresses gratitude to Rentaro for not ignoring her, even though she is who she is. However, Rentaro is puzzled and questions why he would ever avoid her. As Shizuka looks down and falls silent, Rentaro asks if she could borrow the first volume of the book again, assuring her that she will return it as soon as possible. She agrees and borrows the book, and upon returning to the library, her colleague notices her excitement. He inquires if something good happened, but she brushes it off, explaining that she's just fulfilling her duty. While organizing the shelves, she discovers the book Rentaro had intended to pick up that day. She reaches out to retrieve it. A few days pass, and Shizuka ends up seeing Rentaro with his girlfriends. Hikari comments on how tired he has looked recently, and he attributes it to being very busy and going to bed late. They both become suspicious and blush, but they assure him everything is fine. Hikari kisses his face to share her energy with him, and Shizuka watches from a corner. Rentaro hugs Hikari and thanks her for her help, with Kurain attempting to get in on the affection, mentioning that she has a lot of energy to share with him. When she goes in for a kiss, she accidentally headbutts his chin. She apologizes, but he appreciates the gesture and calls her a war goddess. Seeing Rentaro with the girls, Shizuka regrets that he already has a girlfriend and feels inferior once again. She remembers a time when a group of young people called her problematic for always communicating with that book. They asked her to speak like people, and when she didn't comply, one of the girls slapped Shizuka, saying she would never be able to speak if she continued with that stupid thing under her arms. This memory makes her feel that Rentaro or anyone else wouldn't have time to talk to a stranger like her. At the end of the day, she finds herself alone in the room until Rentaro appears. He expresses his desire to repay her kindness by borrowing books from her more often. Rentaro inquires if Shizuka has a cell phone, to which she confirms that she does. He then asks her to install a particular application on her phone, assuring her that the application is safe as he has tested it beforehand. Shizuka installs the app, and Rentaro sends her a PDF file of the first volume of her book. Shizuka finds this puzzling, as she was certain that the book had not yet been released as an e-book. Rentaro explains that when she selects a portion of the text, a voice will emanate from the device and convert the text to speech. Additionally, the software will read aloud any text she inserts into it. Shizuka realizes that Rentaro has transferred the entire book into that device, word for word. He goes on to clarify that when she communicates in her unique way, they would both need to focus on the book, which could detract from the essential part of a conversation, looking into each other's eyes. However, if she uses this application, they can have a more conventional conversation and maintain eye contact. Rentaro expresses his understanding of how difficult it must be for Shizuka to communicate, and mentions that he decided to implement this solution to facilitate communication for her without requiring her to speak. Rintaro expresses his hope that this new communication tool will help Shizuka. He then requests her to write something on the device to test it. Shizuka writes that she loves him, but tears well up in her eyes, and she apologizes, asking him to ignore what she just confessed. She acknowledges that he already has a girlfriend waiting for him. However, Shizuka explains that she simply wanted to reveal her feelings before that happened. Rintaro begins to grasp the situation and realizes that he genuinely loves her, not just because she may be his soulmate. Overwhelmed with emotion, Rintaro hugs Shizuka and confesses his love for her as well. She insists that destiny keeps them apart, but Rintaro counters by saying that if destiny is in their way, they should break it so they can be together. He then introduces Shizuka to his other girlfriends and requests their permission to have one more. Karine is immediately against the idea, but Hikari praises Rintaro's attitude, appreciating that even after finding new love, he doesn't want to abandon them. Rintaro explains his intention to love all three of them equally, and promises to demonstrate it through his actions. Karine questions if he will truly uphold this promise, and Rintaro affirms that they can hold him accountable for it. He even states that if he fails to keep his word and hurts any of them, he will redeem himself by committing seppuku, as someone who harms their loved ones doesn't deserve to live. In this way, the love triangle from before transforms into a love rectangle. Introducing his new partner to both ladies, Karine initially perceives her as quite ordinary. However, they are taken aback when she replies to their hellos with a synthesized voice from her smartphone. The revelation is unsettling for them. Moreover, Rintaro shares with Shizuka that he has uploaded her classmates' names and data from Circlet Love Story Volume 2 to her device to facilitate her communication. He goes on to clarify for the others that Shizuka utilizes lines from her cherished shows to converse. He even addresses the audience directly, suggesting that those curious about the method should refer to the anime's third episode. Kairin, however, chastises him for his meta-narrative antics. In the midst of this, Shizuka articulates their names in a mechanized tone. Rentaro elaborates on the girl's quirks, describing her as an avid reader and librarian who exhibits adorable toe wiggles when engrossed in a book. He observes that her toe movements vary with the emotions evoked by the narrative, likening her joyful wiggle to a wagging dog's tail, while fear induces a tremble in her feet. Rintaro finds Shizuka's involuntary display of sentiments endearing, though she is mortified upon learning these traits of hers were noticeable. She was oblivious to these nuances, and Rintaro doesn't stop there. He remarks on Hikari's habits, noting how she innocently places her hand over her mouth when in deep thought, escalating to nibbling on her fingers with increased focus, an act Rintaro deems irresistibly alluring. Much to Hikari's astonishment at such an unintentional gesture, he doesn't spare Karine either, pointing out her instinctive hair twirling when flattered, a gesture he finds particularly enchanting in contrast to her typical demeanor. His acute observations have left all three feeling quite self-conscious. Rintaro presses on, describing how Hikari pouts when they kiss and how Karine becomes so lost in the moment she forgets to breathe. Shizuka, intrigued by these intimate details, inquires whether Rintaro has shared a kiss with them. Intrigued, Shizuka uses the phrase exchanging kisses, leaving Rintaro momentarily perplexed, uncertain of its implications. Shizuka quickly recovers from her faux pas, apologizing for her lapse in decorum, yet she infers from the conversation that they have indeed kissed. When Hikari inquires if Shizuka harbors a curiosity about kissing as well, she reveals that fate, in the form of dew, has ordained her to maintain her purity until her marriage. Rintaro respects her stance, assuring her that he's willing to wait for the kiss until she's comfortable. This exchange doesn't go unnoticed by the other two, who now find themselves yearning for his kiss. Subsequently, the girls vie to feed Rintaro, each claiming they had the idea first, creating a playful contention while he was content with his bento. In the midst of this, Shizuka withdraws from the group, maintaining a distance and observing without participation. The debate between the other two escalates as they draw closer, prompting Rintaro to caution them about the risk of an accidental kiss given their proximity. Noticing Shizuka's absorption in her own world, Rintaro empathizes with her potential struggle in immediately bonding with the group. Yet he remains optimistic, ready to navigate the complexities of forming new friendships. He muses on the tendency of people to force certain behaviors when meeting someone new, as a defense mechanism to avoid revealing true thoughts that might trigger disdain or disapproval in others. Rintaro suggests that it's less complicated to share one's true self with someone who has already seen a glimpse of your genuine emotions, as it overcomes the fear of judgment and simplifies the relationship. So, Rintaro pulls out a deck of cards and proposes a playful twist on the traditional game of Old Maid, suggesting they introduce a playful punishment, The winner gets to tickle the loser. He reflects that laughter is a natural pathway to revealing genuine emotions, and he coins the initiative Operation Tickle Laugh Bonding. The girls quickly concur, the prospect of Rintaro's tickles spurring excitement. Observing their eager anticipation, Rintaro senses an alliance forming against him in the game. As they begin, Rintaro emerges victorious in the initial round, with Karain as the unfortunate loser. She prompts him to carry out her penalty swiftly, attempting to mask her delight at the prospect. As Rintaro begins to tickle her, she claims immunity to the sensation. Nevertheless, he perceives her stoicism as a playful challenge and escalates his efforts. Karain responds by playfully collapsing onto the floor, inviting him to continue in a manner that teeters on the edge of propriety. Deciding to retreat, they reset for another round, which Rintaro again wins, this time leaving Hikari as the loser. She provocatively prepares for her punishment, asking Rintaro to be gentle, eliciting Karain's protective instinct to ensure things remain decent. As Rintaro tickles her, Hikari bursts into a mix of giggles and involuntary moans, later admitting her vulnerability to tickles. Rintaro reassures her, and a flustered Hikari steps back, humorously confessing that the tickling was so intense it almost overwhelmed her completely. In the third round, fate again favors Rintaro, reaffirming his role as the tickler. He can't help but feel that perhaps the universe has conspired for him to engage in this lighthearted torment with them all. The game continues, and this time the cards dictate that Shizuka is the one to face the playful consequence. Rintaro, visibly eager, is intrigued at the thought of eliciting a laugh from the typically composed Shizuka. When he commences the tickling, she strives to maintain her poise but eventually succumbs to laughter, which uniquely emanates through her electronic device. The synthetic sound takes Rintaro aback, but Shizuka candidly shares that, though it may seem melancholic, it's her sole avenue for such expression. Rintaro, charmed by her resilience, reassures her of her cuteness and returns to the tickling. The other girls watch on, realizing that despite their efforts, Rintaro has yet to lose a round. Having achieved their initial goal of being tickled by him, they now set a new target. They want to tickle Rintaro in return. The girls watch, competitive fire in their eyes, perplexed by the chaos they're witnessing. Fate twists when Rintaro finally loses in the fourth round, with Shizuka emerging as the victor. Encouraging her to embrace the opportunity, Rintaro braces himself. The others look on with a tinge of envy as Shizuka approaches, yet she opts for a gentle, restrained style of poking. Rintaro's laughter surprises even himself. He hadn't anticipated being ticklish. Hikari, baffled by the mild approach, believes Shizuka is wasting an ideal chance to explore Rintaro's reactions more boldly, reflecting that an accidental overstep would likely be forgiven given the situation. Hikari speculates whether Rintaro is drawn to Shizuka's reserved nature, observing Shizuka's canine-like face, her delicate movements, and soft voice, contemplating the authenticity of such mannerisms. To Hikari, Shizuka embodies a sense of vulnerability that evokes a protective instinct, likening her to an adorable stuffed animal worthy of care. Acknowledging Shizuka's potent appeal, Hikari recognizes her as a formidable rival, far surpassing Kairin in this unexpected competition. As the tickling session concludes, Rintaro admits to his own amusement, overcome by laughter to the point of needing a break, and he excuses himself towards the bathroom, still chuckling from the playful encounter. Witnessing Rintaro's hasty retreat to the bathroom, Hikari teases, wondering aloud if his urgency was due to overwhelming joy. Meanwhile, Kairin, casting a stern glance at Shizuka, inquires about her reserved actions during the tickling. Shizuka denies acting any different because of their presence, but Kairin challenges her, pointing out that Shizuka was the only one who refrained from seeking a deeper connection with Rintaro during the game, merely poking him when she had the chance to touch more. Karain jumps in, questioning Shizuka's timid approach, labeling it foolish, with Hikari adding that Shizuka's hesitation was likely due to Karain's own intimidating behavior. Karain defensively denies this, with Hikari making a biting remark about Karain's obliviousness to her own loudness. Shizuka then confesses her reluctance to overstep, as Rintaro was already in a relationship with the others before her arrival. Kairin acknowledges this but stresses that Shizuka is now equally his girlfriend, expressing frustration at Shizuka's self-restraint. Kairin argues that it's unpleasant to see Shizuka holding back her true desires. Hikari calls out this perceived double standard, accusing Kairin of often masking her own feelings to maintain her kindness facade. Kairin snaps back, warning Hikari to silence unless she's looking for a quarrel. As the tension mounts, Shizuka attempts to apologize, only to be sharply rebuked by Kairin for her repetitiveness, which she finds equally irritating. The argument escalates until Hikari suggests that Kairin would be just as irritated with any other response from Shizuka, prompting Kairin to threaten real anger. Amidst the heated exchange, Shizuka decides to be frank, stating that their desire for honesty has led her to confront a paralyzing fear, an admission that brings a somber note to the confrontation, as Kairin is touched by her vulnerability. Kairin's self-reflection leads Shizuka to admit her admiration for the others and her own feelings of inadequacy. Shizuka's candidness about feeling lesser next to Hikari's grace and Kairin's poise reveals her deep-seated fears of not measuring up. This raw honesty endears her to Hikari and Kairin, who come to see Shizuka not as competition, but as a kindred spirit. They assure her, pointing out her own quiet charm and beauty. This strengthens their bond and leads to a collective reassurance that Rintaro's affections are rooted in more than just their external qualities. They agree to an equal partnership in their relationship with Rintaro, with Hikari's suggestion to use first names marking their unity. While Rintaro is absent from this exchange, he reflects positively on their progress, but remains aware of the undercurrents of tension, particularly regarding Kairin's previously displayed anger. Rentaro's tactic with the monkey game is a clever move to promote openness in the group, preventing emotional rifts. His retreat to the bathroom allows the girls space to tackle their own issues, revealing Kairin's tough stance as a push for Shizuka's candidness, and Hikari's intervention as protective, fostering a sense of unity among them. Shizuka's bold request for a kiss marks a pivotal moment of self-honesty, challenging her own reticence. Rintaro's initial tender response and subsequent kiss affirm their mutual affection, furthering their emotional connection. Hikari nudges Kairin to drop her guard, leading to a typical tsundere reaction where her outward aloofness slowly gives way to her genuine affection for Rintaro, despite her claims otherwise. The laughter and varied reactions following these events, Shizuka's shyness, Kairin's hidden jealousy, Hikari's forthrightness weave a rich tapestry of evolving relationships. Rintaro's playful acknowledgement of Kairin's embarrassment highlights the endearing qualities in each girl's unique way of handling their emotions. In this light-hearted narrative, these moments underscore themes of truthfulness, vulnerability, and the diverse expressions of emotion, with Rintaro at the heart, skillfully nurturing and navigating these intimate connections. So she starts to hit him, and finally, Rintaro says that he wants to kiss her too. After all, if it's not him asking for the deal, it won't even happen. And then he asks if she wants it too, and even though she is very reluctant, Korean answers yes. And then the two kiss, and after kissing all three of them, he looks stupid looking at the sky, and Haka asks what he has, and Ro says that they are such great girlfriends that he considers it a waste for them to be with him. And he says he's grateful for the three of them. And the girl's interpretation of this line varies from silly to too sincere, and the three of them start laughing at the situation. In this segment, we find the crew eagerly awaiting Rintaro's return, who had popped into another room to grab his much-cherished cell phone. The narrative of Rintaro and the enigmatic Ai unfolds with a palpable tension, underscored by the prolonged absence of Rintaro as he retrieves his cell phone, a device that serves as a modern-day trove of treasured memories, a digital locket holding close the photographs and shared experiences with Shizuka and the others. Their concern is not just for his whereabouts but for what the absence of his phone signifies, a missing piece of their collective history, momentarily misplaced. As Rintaro approaches the threshold of the room, the sight of his cell phone brings a sense of relief, quickly followed by the unexpected presence of Ai, an anomaly in his otherwise predictable routine. The conversation that follows is a dance of social cues and unspoken questions, with Rintaro extending an invitation to view the test scores together. Ai, with the serene confidence of one who knows their capabilities, sees no value in the verification of her achievements. It's a moment of silent realization for Rintaro. Ai's self-assurance and disinterest in validation might just be the hallmark of a soulmate, resonating with his own experiences of profound connection. When Rintaro, later on, encounters the list of top performers and discovers Ai's name crowning the chart, his admiration for her intellect is matched by his intrigue in her solitary nature. Shizuka's description paints Ai as an academic island, her brilliance casting a long shadow, while Inda's remarks, though secondhand, sketch an image of a young woman whose life is a study in disciplined excellence, almost to the point of being machine-like in her efficiency. In the shared space of the biology lab, the dynamic between Rintaro and Ai becomes a microcosm of their contrasting worldviews. As Rintaro urges the abandonment of the textbook, he discovers Ai's meticulous replication of cell diagrams, a visual echo of her steadfast reliance on proven methods over experiential learning. His attempt to nudge her towards the tangible aspects of their assignment is met with resistance, as Ai questions the necessity of repeating observations already established by scientific forebears. It takes the subtle prompt of academic decorum, with Rintaro's mention of their observant professor, to coax Ai into participating in the hands-on aspect of their class. Throughout this exchange, a delicate balance is struck between Rintaro's appreciation for the tangible, sensory aspects of learning and Ai's unwavering faith in the efficiency of predetermined knowledge. It's a dance between the empirical and the practical, the observable and the assumed, as each brings their own perspectives to the shared bench of inquiry and discovery. As our story unfolds, Ai's commitment to efficiency remains unshaken, even as she confronts the tools of scientific inquiry. She stubbornly positions her textbook beneath the microscope's lens, a testament to her belief in the steadfast reliability of the printed word over the variable nature of hands-on experimentation. Rintaro observes this, understanding the mechanics behind her moniker as an AI. Her decisions, while logical, lack the warmth of human intuition, leaving her somewhat isolated from her classmates who don't share her stringent approach. The dynamics of the laboratory are soon disrupted by an accidental slice of Rintaro's finger. As he moves to cleanse the cut, Ai's unexpected response, using her own mouth as a makeshift disinfectant, sends a jolt of embarrassment through him. The intimate contact, her lips pressed against his skin, is a stark contrast to the sterile environment of the lab and the scientific detachment she usually exudes. Meanwhile, life in the lab hums on, with the other girls absorbed in their tasks, oblivious to the sudden closeness between Rintaro and Ai. Post-lab, Rintaro seeks to bridge the gap between them, extending his thanks and an offer of a soda. The offer falls flat as Ai critiques it for its lack of hydrating efficiency. It's here that Rintaro's intentions are laid bare, to peel back the layers of Ai's armored persona. Yet she remains unmoved, her vision tunneled to view social interactions and leisure as mere distractions from the pursuit of scholarly dominance. Rintaro, with the fervor of one who has tasted the sweetness of life beyond textbooks, makes a case for the intrinsic value of joy, laughter, and the intangible qualities that make life vivid. Ai counters with the precision of a mathematician. To her, if it cannot be quantified, it cannot be valued. The impasse lingers, with Rintaro contemplating the enigmatic puzzle that is Ai. Can someone so diametrically opposed to his own outlook be his destined companion? Alone with her studies, the fortress of her focus begins to crumble as Ai finds her thoughts drifting to Rintaro, particularly to the moment she impulsively put her lips to his skin. Why had she done it? What anomaly in her regimented life allowed for such an uncalculated act? These questions suggest a simmering cauldron of emotions beneath her cool exterior, challenging the very foundations of her self-perception and hinting at the burgeoning conflict between her disciplined mind and the uncharted territory of her heart. In the solitary confines of her room, where the world is often reduced to data and formulas, Ai seeks solace in the constants of mathematics, the infinite string of pi serving as a rhythmic anchor to her wandering mind. It's a ritualistic attempt to center herself, to find clarity in the precision of numbers, a stark contrast to the unpredictable nature of human emotions that now seem to intrude with the image of Rintaro. She chides herself for this lapse, for even in the quiet, disciplined realm of her studies, she finds the shadow of Rintaro looming, his presence an unwelcome yet compelling force that disrupts her meticulous order. The following day, Ai confronts this disruption head-on. Her confession of love to Rintaro is much an act of defiance against her own structured reality as it is an admission of her feelings. Yet, in the same breath, she retreats to the safety of logic, discounting the very notion of romance as a frivolous teenage fancy, incompatible with the lofty academic aspirations she has set for herself. Her words paint a picture of love as a detour, an unnecessary deviation from the path of scholarly pursuit. Rintaro, however, stands as a bastion of the heart's resilience, challenging Ai's attempts to rationalize away their connection. He recognizes the paradox in her admission, a contradiction that hints at a deeper struggle within Ai, a battle between the head and the heart. Rintaro's counter-proposal is a testament to his belief in the transformative power of love, offering to lay down his affections should he fail to bridge the gap between them in the span of a single date. The day of reckoning arrives, and with it, the tumultuous blend of hope and trepidation as Rintaro waits for Ai. Her arrival, dressed in casual attire, is a visual shock to Rintaro, an unexpected glimpse of Ai outside the stringent confines of her usual academic armor. Misreading his stunned silence as malaise, Ai's misinterpretation is a poignant reminder of the chasm of misunderstanding that still lies between them. Their date becomes a tapestry of moments both tender and testing. The carousel, a symbol of carefree youth, spins under Ai's critical gaze as she questions its purpose, unable to see the joy in circling to the strains of music. Rintaro's camera, an artifact meant to capture fleeting memories, becomes another point of contention, with Ai highlighting the inherent risk of entrusting precious moments to such fallible technology. Yet, through Rintaro's lens, he sees more than just an image. He sees the potential for beauty in imperfection, a concept that Ai regards with her characteristic skepticism. Each snapshot, each rotation of the carousel, and every exchanged word is a step in their intricate dance, a duel of perspectives where Ai clings to the tangible certainty of logic, while Rintaro seeks to draw her into the ephemeral realm of emotion and experience. It is a journey that challenges them both as they navigate the complex interplay of reason and romance. Their date adventure continues as Rintaro takes Ai to a haunted house. Ai, ever the pragmatist, deems ghosts as unscientific fantasies. Rintaro playfully counters that the fear is real enough, even if the ghosts are not. As actors in ghost costumes attempt to startle them, it's Rintaro who jumps, much to Ai's confusion. Exiting the haunted house, Ai dryly suggests renaming it to Haunted Humans, unimpressed by the charade. They move on to spinning teacups, which Ai questions the purpose of, pondering why people would willingly wait in line for such a dizzying experience. She even speculates that the combination of spinning and music induces a trance-like state in riders. The couple then faces a giant maze. True to her nature, Ai scales a wall for a better vantage point, criticizing the inefficiency of the maze design. Rintaro gently reminds her that navigating through dead ends is the essence of a maze. On the Ferris wheel, Ai's composure wavers as her fear of heights surfaces. Rintaro offers comfort, leading to a moment of intimacy as their hands and fingers intertwine. Afterwards, they review the day's photos. Rintaro points out Ai's rare moments of joy, something she doubts others can discern due to her typically stoic demeanor. Rintaro assures her it's noticeable to those who pay attention. Reflecting on the day, Ai admits to having more fun than anticipated, yet she struggles with the concept, feeling it's frivolous as it brings no tangible benefits. She apologizes for her perspective, hinting at an internal conflict between her ingrained beliefs and the new experiences challenging them. Rintaro reassures Ai that she needn't apologize for her raw emotions. He understands that everyone's experiences are different and values her honesty. He nearly destroys their day's photos, symbolizing moving on. But Ai's unexpected sentimentality stops him. This leads Rintaro to highlight the importance of intangible, meaningful moments, which visibly moves Ai. Despite a moment of her usual pragmatism, she chooses to deepen her bond with Rintaro, and they share a kiss. Later, Rintaro contemplates adding Ai to his group of girlfriends, which includes Inda, Hikari, and Shizuka. Each girlfriend reacts differently to the news, with Inda unfazed, Hikari seeking reassurance of her importance, and Shizuka being indifferent. They all humorously tackle the topic of loyalty and potential betrayal. The conversation shifts to planning a group outing, possibly to a pool park, as Rintaro faces the logistical challenge of organizing an event for his unconventional family. That's the essence of Rintaro's tale, a blend of emotion, reason, and unquantifiable experiences within his growing love circle. After her class, Karine finds herself wandering into a swimwear shop, her mind buzzing with thoughts about the upcoming pool park outing. The suggestion for the trip had come unexpectedly from Hikari, catching Karine off guard, especially since she didn't own any swimwear suitable for such a social event. Her past pool experiences were limited to casual visits with friends, none of which required anything beyond simple, functional swimwear. As she browses through the aisles of colorful and trendy bikinis, Karine can't help but feel a bit out of place. The thought of wearing such fashionable swimwear triggers a mix of excitement and discomfort in her. She's always preferred comfort over style, and these eye-catching bikinis seem to embody everything she wasn't accustomed to. Despite this, a part of her can't help but be drawn to the bold designs and vibrant patterns. Karine's internal debate is noticed by a store assistant, who approaches with a gentle smile, offering assistance. When Karine expresses her uncertainty, the assistant is quick to apologize, feeling responsible for not being able to match Karine's expectations and comfort. As Karine continues her hesitant exploration of the store, a particular bikini catches her eye. It's a standout piece, unique in its design, with a playful yet elegant pattern that seems to contrast with her usual style. For a moment, she considers trying it on, but self-doubt creeps in. She can't shake off the feeling that such a cute and stylish bikini wouldn't suit her. In her mind, she imagines what Rintaro's reaction might be if he saw her in it. Would he offer a compliment, or would it be out of character for her? This thought lingers as she weighs the possibility of stepping out of her comfort zone. On the day of the pool outing, Rintaro is visibly excited about the newly opened park and its bustling atmosphere. The sight of the crowd and the lively ambience lifts his spirits. His mood further brightens when he spots 3 of his girlfriends arriving, adding to his happiness. Amidst the joy, Shizuka approaches him with a hint of regret in her eyes. She apologizes for choosing an outfit she thought would be appealing to the students, now concerned that it might be a source of embarrassment for the group. Rintaro, always quick to reassure, highlights Shizuka's modesty. He admires her courage to wear a school swimsuit, something he believes no other schoolgirl would dare to do, elevating her status in his eyes to that of a national treasure. The group's joyous mood slightly dims when they realize Kurain has not yet arrived. When she finally appears, Rintaro is surprised to find her not in swimwear, but in regular clothes. He expresses his disappointment, gently urging her to go home and change into something more appropriate for the pool. Kurain, feeling a bit chilly and out of place, decides to remain on the sidelines, content with watching her friends enjoy the water. Rintaro, concerned for her well-being, suggests the possibility of leaving, but Hikari intervenes. She proposes waiting for another day when Kurain feels more inclined to join in the fun. EIAI, ever practical, suggests that Kurain could at least sunbathe near the lounge chairs, where the sunlight is most effective. Kurain appreciates the concern but reassures everyone that she's fine on her own. EIAI, in a moment of frankness, admits that they aren't close enough for her to be overly worried, sparking a brief but intense argument between them. Despite this, Rintaro notes an improvement in Kurain's mood, pleased to see her engaging more with the group, even from a distance. As the day unfolds at the pool, Rintaro's attention is drawn to Shizuka, who seems to be caught in an endless spin in the water. Her spinning, though seemingly aimless, speaks volumes about her inner turmoil and uncertainty about her place in the group. Meanwhile, EAI considers this spinning as a form of survival training, a necessary skill for unforeseen scenarios. The day takes a more playful turn when Hikari, caught by a sudden current, ends up falling into Rintaro's lap. The unexpected contact leaves both of them in an awkward and embarrassing situation, especially when Hikari's chest ends up resting on Rintaro's arm. She plays it off with feigned innocence, but the moment is not lost on Nano. Seizing the opportunity, Nano guides Rintaro's hand towards her chest, further escalating the playful yet charged atmosphere among the group. Nano explains to Rintaro that she wants him to experience her feminine charm, believing this to be the most effective way. However, Hikari, fueled by jealousy, also places Rintaro's hand on her chest. This sparks a debate between Nano and Hikari about who has the superior breasts, eventually turning to Rintaro for his opinion. They find him unconscious from the overwhelming experience. Nano confirms his weak pulse but no breathing, prompting Hikari to suggest mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. As Hikari attempts it, Nano intervenes, doubting her technique. Nano insists on saving Rintaro, as she still has much to learn from him, and attempts resuscitation herself. Hikari, in desperation, pushes her away and decides to perform the procedure correctly. Meanwhile, the Beyblade girl Shizuka is helplessly spinning in the pool, unable to swim back to the group, and eventually sends a message for help after her float bursts. As Hikari and Nano continue their efforts to revive Rintaro, Nano suggests seeking someone knowledgeable for help. Hikari proposes finding a male lifeguard. En route, a group of boys invites them to join, but they decline due to the urgency. One boy comments on Hikari's soft arms, linking it to a bizarre theory about a girl's arms being as soft as her breasts. He shares his odd experiment with air resistance and declares his obsession with breasts, even attempting to touch Hikari. Nano intervenes, misinterpreted as flirtation by the boy, who then tries to touch her. Nano responds with a strike to his eyes, deeming it the most efficient way to deal with a pervert. One of the boy's friends chastises Nano, refusing to excuse her actions based on her gender. The boys insist on accompanying them, worsening the situation. In the midst of these challenges, the group faces various predicaments. Shizuka is disoriented, Kurain is unexplainably cold, and Rintaro is on the verge of danger. The situation escalates as the boys threaten Nano and Hikari again. Nano decides to stay behind, instructing Hikari to seek help for Rintaro. Hikari questions why she must endure this ordeal, reminding Nano that she had defended her from one of the assailants. Nano clarifies she acted only to avoid upsetting Rintaro, not wanting to see him hurt. Hikari counters, suggesting Rintaro would be equally saddened by harm coming to her. Nano, however, believes that since her relationship with Rintaro is newer, he would be more affected if something happened to Hikari. As the boys grow impatient, Hikari asserts that neither of them will stay. Nano is confused, but Hikari explains that her budding relationship with Rintaro means she still has much to understand about him. One of the aggressors, tired of the discussion, decides to take them by force. Suddenly, Rintaro arrives, intervening to protect Nano and Hikari. He confronts the boys, who tell him to back off and accuse Nano of injuring one of their friends. Hikari explains the self-defense situation, and Rintaro, understanding the context, suggests spending time with the boys to reconcile for the incident. The lead aggressor, uninterested in Rintaro's company, dismisses them. Rintaro then clarifies that both Nano and Hikari are his girlfriends, a claim the aggressor doubts, challenging Rintaro to kiss them as proof. Rintaro hesitates, not wanting to display such affection publicly, but Nano and Hikari each take turns kissing him, dispelling the boys' disbelief. The aggressors, unnerved by this modern relationship dynamic, flee. Hikari inquires when Rintaro regained consciousness, and Nano wonders how he located them. Before Rintaro can respond, Karin arrives, upset by the scene she witnessed. The narrative then flashes back to moments earlier when Karin, sunbathing, notices the boys approaching Nano and Hikari. She heads towards them and finds Rintaro lying on the ground. Panicking at his pale appearance, she attempts to revive him. Rintaro only awakens when Karin mentions the girls are in danger, springing into action to assist them. This revelation clarifies how Rintaro managed to reach them in time, and Nano remarks on the effectiveness of this method to rouse him. Rintaro approaches Nano, thanking her for protecting Hikari. Nano acknowledges she knew Hikari's importance to him, but Rintaro urges her not to take such risks, as her well-being is equally significant to him. This realization makes Nano reflect on Hikari's earlier words about her not fully understanding Rintaro, and she now comprehends that he cares for everyone in the group. She apologizes and expresses gratitude for his concern. Karin then points out that Shizuka is still missing. Hikari mentions not having seen her since they were swept away by the current in the pool. Rintaro panics, fearing Shizuka was carried off by the current, and rushes to rescue her. Meanwhile, Shizuka, struggling to get help as her phone battery dies, tries to signal Rintaro. He initially fails to see her, prompting Shizuka to overcome her dislike of her own voice and shout for him. Rintaro finally hears her, rushes to her aid, and carries her, receiving an unexpected kiss from Shizuka. Rintaro, embarrassed, suggests it's not the right place for such affection. Returning to the group, Rintaro decides to rest and invites Karin to join him. He notices she had been eyeing Hikari and Nano's figures, leading to a conversation about body image. Karin denies focusing on their attributes, but Rintaro, seeing through her, points out her self-comparisons and lack of confidence. She insists she's just cold, but Rintaro counters this, noting her ice cream-laden soda. Rintaro reassures Karin that while Hikari and Nano's figures are exceptional, most high school girls share similar traits to her and Shizuka. Karin expresses feeling different from Shizuka too, viewing herself as tall and less feminine. Rintaro then prompts her to stand and removes her coat, revealing her bikini, which she initially resists, calling him a pervert. He compliments her appearance, causing discomfort, but then embraces her, asking if she can feel his heart beating rapidly. He explains that their close heartbeats signify their deep connection, suggesting that he would feel embarrassed if they weren't as close. Rintaro further reassures Karin, explaining that she is not better or worse than the other girls, as each of them possesses unique qualities. He emphasizes that, in his eyes, Karin couldn't be more attractive than she already is. His words leave her motionless and blushing. Sensing the moment, Rintaro gently kisses her, breaking the tension. They then return to the pool area, where Nano inquires if Karin's cold has subsided. Karin confirms it has, now more at ease. The other girls begin to compliment her on her bikini, which makes her feel bashful yet appreciated. Seeing Karin integrated and everyone together, Rintaro realizes the joy in spending time as a group at the pool. The rest of the day is spent in high spirits, as they all fully embrace the outing, enjoying each other's company, and making the most of their time together. This unity and shared fun capture the essence of their friendship and the special day they've had.
Rintaro finds himself reluctantly joining his girlfriends for a themed pancake outing. The air is filled with the sweet aroma of syrup and the chatter of excited patrons, but Rintaro's mind is elsewhere. As they amble through the bustling streets, he spots a mysterious girl, evoking a sudden and intense shock of recognition. Yet before he can act on this impulse, his girlfriend swiftly pulls him away, her laughter echoing in his ears as they continue their stroll. The image of the enigmatic girl lingers in his mind, haunting his thoughts. Welcome back to Anikazu, your ultimate anime recap destination. Today, we're diving into the wild and whimsical world of 100 girlfriends that really, really love you. Get ready for an episode filled with unexpected twists, eccentric characters, and a dash of scientific madness. If you enjoy our recaps, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more anime adventures. Now, let's unravel the latest escapades of Rintaro and his bizarre encounters. Here we go. The next day, driven by an unshakable curiosity, Rintaro sets out to find this girl. His search leads him to the chemistry lab, a place of beakers and bubbling concoctions. Instead of the girl he seeks, he encounters Yakuzan Kasari, a member of the chemistry club. Kasari, with her lab coat fluttering and eyes sparkling with a peculiar intensity, greets him with an absent-minded. As they converse, Rintaro can't help but notice Kasari's frequent use of a verbal tick that punctuates her sentences like an uncertain melody. She invites him for tea, her words trailing off with yet another To his surprise, she serves the beverage in a lab container, its contents swirling mysteriously. Rintaro hesitates, the unusual vessel raising his suspicions. Kasari, with a mischievous glint in her eyes, reveals that the container doesn't hold tea but her latest experimental drug, a revelation that piques Rintaro's interest despite his apprehension. Rintaro clarifies that his visit is motivated by his quest to find the mysterious girl from yesterday. Kasari, seemingly unfazed, suggests he stays for tea, her tone implying an unspoken challenge. Rintaro attempts to steer the conversation back to his search, but Kasari shows a clear distaste for being observed, her body language closing off as she fiddles with various lab equipment. Realizing that further conversation is likely futile, Rintaro, driven by a blend of curiosity and resignation, decides to try what Kasari has offered. Kasari then presents a new concoction, a bizarre solution she claims can turn the iron in one's blood into magnets. The absurdity of the claim does little to deter Rintaro, who, bemused yet undeniably curious, agrees to test the drug. Upon ingesting it, an extraordinary sensation overcomes him. He becomes a human magnet, objects around the lab gravitating towards him with an unseen force. Kasari watches, her eyes gleaming with the thrill of scientific validation as her invention proves successful. However, the triumph is short-lived as Kasari warns of a side effect, a 3-day cold. Rintaro, now a center of magnetic attraction, voices his complaints. But Kasari, unfazed by his discomfort, reveals another twist. She informs him that by taking a pill with the opposite magnetic charge, they would become irresistibly attracted to each other. As the force of the magnetism draws them closer, Rintaro's initial amusement turns to awkwardness. He finds himself inescapably tethered to Kasari, their proximity intensifying his unease. Kasari, sensing his discomfort, reassures him that the magnetic effect is only temporary, lasting a mere 10 minutes. Rintaro breathes a sigh of relief, but his respite is short-lived. Kasari, with a sudden seriousness, confides her own dilemma she has been holding in her urine, a predicament she's prepared for with the unconventional solution of wearing a diaper. This peculiar revelation adds yet another layer to their already strange interaction, leaving Rintaro in a state of bewildered contemplation as he ponders the bizarre turn of events in his quest to find the mysterious girl. In a twist of events, Kasari, unable to hold back any longer, accidentally urinates on Rintaro. Embarrassed, she quickly informs him that the drug's effects will soon fade. As they wait, Kasari passionately discusses her love for chemistry, showcasing her diverse creations like night vision drugs and a formula causing delayed voice effects. Observing her enthusiasm, Rintaro finds himself mesmerized, even though he's on a quest to find his soulmate. Despite Kasari not being his destined partner, he can't help but feel drawn to her. Caught staring, Kasari playfully teases Rintaro about being smitten by her cuteness. He inquires how she knows, and she reveals that the tea he drank contained a love potion. Following this revelation, Kasari confesses her feelings for Rintaro and proposes they date. Overwhelmed, Rintaro begins to vomit, upsetting Kasari. He explains his reaction stems from the shock of her confession and the physical discomfort from the earlier incident, not the love potion itself. Kasari is confused, having expected the potion to render him head over heels for her. Misinterpreting his reaction as rejection, she becomes distraught, believing he doesn't reciprocate her feelings. Rintaro clarifies his wish to respond to her feelings soberly, not under the influence of drugs. Overcome by the potent mix of chemicals, he collapses, shaking uncontrollably. Realizing she's induced an overdose of emotions, Kasari quickly offers an antidote. Unable to take it himself due to his disoriented state, Kasari administers the medicine through a kiss, curing him. With the potion's effects gone, Rintaro still acknowledges Kasari's allure. This realization leads her to understand that his body had naturally rejected the drug due to his genuine attraction to her. renewing her request. Kasari asks Rintaro to date her again. As he processes this, Rintaro urges her to rise from her knees. However, she remains down, transforming before his eyes. Kasari reveals her true appearance, explaining that a drug interaction during their kiss caused this change. She admits her experiment on immortality failed, resulting in her childlike appearance. Reintroducing herself as the chemistry club president, Kasari's new form surprises Rintaro, who now realizes she is his senior. Kasari explains the misinterpretation of her appearance due to the transformation, adding complexity to their budding relationship. Kasari prefers to maintain an angelic guise during her experiments. Rintaro, still grappling with the revelation that the two girls he met are actually one and the same, is stunned. Realizing she is his soulmate, he declares his feelings, kneeling before her. Kasari embraces him but playfully mentions needing to change his diapers again, bringing Kasari to meet his two girlfriends. Rintaro requests their acceptance to date her as well. Iai remarks on the efficiency of dating multiple partners, but Rintaro insists his motive isn't efficiency. Coraine, curious, prompts Kasari for a proper introduction. Kasari identifies herself as an obsessive drug enthusiast. Coraine skeptically questions Kasari's decency. Rintaro clarifies that Kasari's appearance is the result of a specific drug. She's actually a third-year student. Kasari then offers each girlfriend a tailored potion. To Coraine, she initially suggests a breast enlargement drug, which infuriates her. Switching gears, Kasari proposes a potion to curb Coraine's craziness, only to upset her further. Finally, she offers a potion to enhance Coraine's femininity, leading Coraine to question how Kasari knows about her. Kasari cheekily credits Rintaro for the information, placing him in an awkward spot. To diffuse the tension, Kasari mentions Rintaro's compliments about Coraine's beauty, which cools her aggression. Coraine inquires if Rintaro was hurt by her earlier actions, to which he jokingly replies he enjoys it. Kasari gives Hikari a potion to enhance her sex appeal. Imagining its effects, Hikari eagerly consumes it, only to find her clothes dissolving from excessive sweating. A side effect Kasari explains as the true essence of sexiness. Embarrassed, Hikari receives Rintaro's sweatshirt for modesty. As Hikari dons the sweatshirt, she's momentarily distracted by its scent, remembering the potion's clothes-melting effect. Kasari reassures her the effect is one time only. For Shizuka, the book lover, Kasari concocts a potion that transforms her appearance into a rabbit, eliciting a surprising reaction. Rentaro compliments Shizuka's rabbit-like cuteness, but she feels undeserving of such praise. When he touches her ears and she blushes, feeling the sensation, he gently places her on his lap, tenderly stroking her ears. For Nano, Kasari concocts a potion to make her hair more manageable, suiting her efficiency-loving nature. Nano uses her newly manageable hair to clean some dirt off Rentaru's face, enchanting him with its scent. She then efficiently pulls him in for a kiss, expressing her fondness for the potion. Kasari, arriving with multiple potions, explains that each lasts about 10 minutes but cautions Nano against overuse, as it could lead to baldness. Nano humorously considers the efficiency of being bald, but Rentaru assures her of his love regardless of her hair. As they gather for a discussion, Coraine expresses amazement at the effectiveness of Kasari's drugs. Curious about the breast enlargement potion, Kasari shows her a photo simulation, which disappoints Coraine due to its muscle-like appearance. Kasari shares her ambition to join a research team and develop more advanced drugs. During their conversation, Kasari feels the urge to urinate but dismisses it, citing her diaper. Rentaru, concerned, urges her to use the bathroom. She hesitantly agrees, leaving Hikari to prepare tea. Kasari cautions that each person's tea is different, hinting at a gender-specific brew. Rentaru, noticing Kasari's discomfort, encourages her to hurry to the restroom. She rushes off, instructing them to differentiate the teas by the bottles. Hikari, examining the bottles, concludes the smaller one is for Rentaru, while the larger is for the girls. Upon returning, Kasari is relieved to see Rentaru drinking what she believes is the correct tea. However, she soon realizes the teas were switched and urges everyone to spit out their drinks. Rentaru downplays the mix-up, suggesting it's not a significant concern. In Rentaru's mind, the difference in teas was merely about taste. However, Kasari clarifies that Rentaru's tea contained a drug intended to make him kiss the person he loves. She had hoped this would lead to a genuine kiss with him, distinguishing it from their previous encounter in the library. Rentaru asserts that he doesn't need such concoctions to want to kiss her, as his feelings are already sincere. Hearing this, Kasari excitedly jumps onto his lap for a kiss. This act sparks jealousy in Karin, and she, along with the other girls, also yearn to kiss Rentaru. Kasari, realizing her miscalculation, warns Rentaru of the drug's potent effects. She explains that it intensifies the male libido towards physical desire. while in females, it heightens the need for emotional fulfillment through kissing, effectively turning them into kissing zombies. Kasuri advises that if the girls catch Rentaru, they'll be insatiable in their desire to kiss him. Rentaru, half-jokingly, considers this scenario a paradise, but Kasuri stresses the urgency of neutralizing the drug to prevent permanent effects. She estimates it takes about an hour for the drug to fully affect their systems, depending on the individual. Thus, a unique twist on a Resident Evil-like scenario unfolds, with the girls transformed into a different kind of zombie. So that was it for the video. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe to the channel Anikazu and write down in the comments if you want to see more to this anime.
As the girls close in, Rintaro is urged by Yakuza to flee. Together, they dash through a door, securing it behind them. She then reveals that creating 4 doses of the antidote on site is impossible. Their only option is to evade the Kiss zombies and head for the chemistry lab. Evading their pursuers temporarily, they head towards the lab. However, the girls unexpectedly confront them. Yakuza produces a corrosive substance from his pocket, capable of causing excruciating pain and skin damage. Rintaro, however, strongly objects to its use and instead opts for a diversion. They manage to outpace the girls once more, leading to another pursuit. Rintaro, in his hurried escape, can't help but notice the abnormal speed of their pursuers. The girls, once his friends, now exhibit superhuman capabilities, a side effect of their transformation into something beyond human, unbound by the usual physical limits. As he ponders this, an unexpected encounter unfolds. An elderly woman, eccentric in her demeanor, suddenly lunges towards them with the intent to kiss. Yakuza, ever ready, quickly utilizes a corrosive substance in defense. However, the plan goes awry. The woman, having just applied her makeup, is unexpectedly resilient to the chemical attack. Her reaction is one of sheer fury, her visage transforming into something almost unrecognizable. Rintaro, in a moment of grim poetry, compares her enraged expression to an abyss, deep and terrifying, staring back at them. Kasuri, witnessing this, comes to a startling realization. The makeup on the woman's skin acted as an unexpected shield, rendering the corrosive substance ineffective. Rintaro, observing this, muses aloud on the limitations of science when faced with such extraordinary situations. Despite this setback, they manage to evade the woman, whose kiss they now fear more than ever. The threat, however, is far from over. The horde of zombified individuals continues its relentless pursuit. Faced with overwhelming odds, Rintaro and Kasuri decide that splitting up is their best chance of survival. Rintaro understands that as the primary target of the zombies' affections, distancing himself from Kasuri might offer her some safety. As they part ways, Rintaro quickly finds himself the sole focus of Shizuka's pursuit, the slowest yet persistent member of the group. His mind races, strategizing how to outmaneuver her, knowing well that if he's not careful, the rest of the group will soon catch up and encircle him. This precarious game of cat and mouse continues, with Rintaro desperately seeking a way to elude his relentless pursuers. As Rintaro races away from the unfolding chaos, Shizuka, in her zombie-like state, stumbles and falls abruptly. Her fall is not gentle, she hits the ground hard, and Rintaro, despite the perilous situation, cannot ignore her plight. He rushes back to her, concern etched on his face. As he kneels beside her, he notices the alarming redness spreading across her forehead, a stark contrast to her pale skin, a clear indication of her injury. With a sense of urgency, Rintaro gently lifts Shizuka, carrying her to the infirmary with a surprising ease that belies his own stress. Once there, he carefully tends to her wounds, applying first aid with a deftness that suggests a familiarity with medical procedures. However, as Shizuka slowly regains consciousness, the effects of the zombie kiss virus become evident. Her eyes, once filled with confusion, now burn with an unnatural intensity as she leans in to kiss Rintaro. Rintaro, caught off guard, tries to pull away, but Shizuka's persistence is overwhelming. Her actions, driven by the virus, clash with the memories of the friend he once knew, causing a turmoil within him. He momentarily loses sight of his mission, torn between his duty and the unsettling transformation of his friend. In a moment of quick thinking, Rintaro employs an unconventional method to prevent further advances from Shizuka. He finds a clothes hanger and, using it ingeniously, suspends her mid-air. This act, though bizarre, is effective in halting her attempts, leaving Shizuka in this temporary state. He makes a silent vow to himself to restore her to her normal state, a promise that adds weight to his already heavy burden. As Rintaro resumes his journey towards the laboratory, his path is quickly barred by 2 more victims of the zombification, Kurine and Hikari. These encounters are not mere chance, they are strategic, orchestrated by the cunning minds of the afflicted girls. Kurain, with a calculated move, propels Hikari towards Rintaro. This tactic catches Rintaro off guard, effectively trapping him in their clutches. The situation escalates as Hikari, seizing her opportunity, plants a kiss on Rintaro, her actions deliberate and focused. Kurain follows suit, and a bizarre rotation ensues. Rintaro, trapped in this cycle, feels a disconcerting numbness creeping over his consciousness. Unlike his encounter with Shizuka, Rintaro finds it significantly more challenging to break free from their grasp, their determination fueled by the virus. However, the dynamic changes when an argument erupts between Kurain and Hikari. Their dispute, intense and passionate, reveals that their core personalities remain intact beneath the zombified exterior. This revelation is a glimmer of hope for Rintaro. Capitalizing on this moment of discord, Rintaro executes a cunning strategy. He manipulates the situation to his advantage, resulting in Kurain and Hikari turning their attention towards each other and engaging in a kiss. This unexpected turn of events provides Rintaro with the much-needed chance to slip away. As he escapes, he ponders over the drug's effects, realizing it amplifies the innate desires of those afflicted, a realization that adds a new layer of complexity to their predicament. Through this harrowing experience, Rintaro gains insights into the nature of the virus, insights that may prove crucial in their fight against this unusual epidemic. The journey ahead is fraught with uncertainty, but Rintaro's resolve remains steadfast, fueled by the need to save his friends and restore normalcy. Rintaro surmises that the intense interaction between Kurain and Hikari might stem from love, not just friendship. Contemplating this, he watches them momentarily before realizing his urgency to reach the chemistry lab. Upon reaching the lab, he encounters Nano at the door and quickly retreats, concealing himself in a closet. Nano, not finding anyone outside, moves on. Rintaro, aware that he must act quickly to avoid detection, pins his hopes on Kasari making it into the lab. Surprisingly, Kasari is also hiding in the same closet. She explains that Nano spotted her trying to enter the lab, prompting her to hide. Rintaro finds it odd that Nano, who primarily seeks him, is also after Kasari. Kasari suggests that Nano might have realized they are together. Rintaro reflects on Nano's strategy. Her intelligence remains despite her zombified state. Panic sets in as he realizes Nano will likely find them soon. Kasari proposes a plan. Rintaro could distract Nano, allowing her to sneak into the lab. Rintaro acknowledges he considered a similar idea, but worries it might seem suspicious if he suddenly emerges from hiding. As they grapple with their dilemma, time presses on, threatening their chance to reverse the zombification. Overwhelmed by the situation, Kasari breaks down, lamenting her role in causing trouble with her drugs and revealing her financial ruin. Rintaro must now find a way to outsmart Nano, save Kasari, and reverse the effects of the zombie kiss. In the midst of their crisis, Kasari, a member of the chemistry club, confesses her feelings to Rintaro, expressing her love and her reluctance to cause him any trouble. In a drastic decision, she vows to cease developing drugs forever. Amidst this emotional moment, she recalls possessing a dose of the reversal drug. Rintaro is relieved, realizing this single dose could be key in confronting Nano and accessing the lab. He praises Kasari's brilliance. However, Kasari unexpectedly consumes the potion herself, explaining that it's to revert to her normal size, making her unrecognizable to Nano. As Kasari stands close to Rintaro, he becomes noticeably flustered due to their physical proximity. Kasari clarifies that the effects of her sip of the reversal drug will soon fade, and if she reverts to a child while under its influence, Nano might discover their plan. Kasari then devises a new strategy to subdue Nano, intending to surprise her with her altered appearance. As anticipated, Nano pays no attention to Kasari in her changed form. Kasari attempts to restrain Nano with tape, but the plan backfires, and Nano overpowers her instead. Rintaro's hope dwindles as Kasari, essential for creating more of the reversal drug, is now captured. In a twist of fate, Rintaro spots some of the spilled reversal drug on the floor. Frustrated yet spurred into action, he flees, with Nano in pursuit. He manages to elude her by ducking into a room, seeking refuge and contemplating his next move in this high-stakes game of survival and strategy. Nano's relentless pursuit leads her to breach the room Rintaro is hiding in, ultimately managing to kiss him. This dramatic moment is punctuated by the appearance of fake credits on the screen, adding a cinematic twist to the unfolding events. However, the narrative takes another turn when Kasari enters the room and administers the reversal drug to Nano. Rentaro reveals his strategy was to distract Nano, buying time for the effects of the reversal drug Kasari ingested to wear off. His explanation, however, seems to confuse Kasari, who had anticipated a different approach involving a chemical solution to dissolve the ropes binding her. Rentaro decides not to dwell on this misunderstanding, focusing instead on the urgent task of administering the reversal drug to the other affected girls. Once the effects of the drug dissipate, Hikari, feeling remorseful, apologizes to Rentaro for her actions. However, she also recalls kissing Kurain, leading to a humorous exchange where both girls, displaying tsundere tendencies, deny remembering the incident despite their apparent mutual attraction. Kasari, feeling responsible for the chaos caused by her drug, apologizes to everyone, but Rentaro reassures her, emphasizing that it was also her invention that facilitated their return to normalcy. He encourages her not to abandon her passion for creating drugs, taking responsibility for any future mishaps her inventions might cause. He expresses his admiration for her passion, a key reason for his affection towards her. This heartfelt exchange leaves the other girls speechless. Kasari, moved by Rentaro's words, embraces him, declaring her love for him and her passion for drug creation. The scene concludes with Kasari affectionately kissing Rentaro, bringing a tender resolution to the adventure. The story wraps up as another entertaining episode on their channel, blending humor, romance. One late afternoon, two girls are talking, expressing amazement over something yet to be disclosed. The following day, Rentaro visits Lovazono Flower Park, captivated by its beauty. Nano remarks that it's an ideal location to observe a diverse range of plants. Meanwhile, Kasari intends to gather different nectars for her pharmaceutical research. Elsewhere, other girls are seen absorbed in the park's scenic views. Rentaro thanks Hikari for recommending the park, and she acknowledges its worthiness of discussion. Indeed, Hikari had also been eager to bring him here. Their conversation is interrupted when an announcement over the intercom reveals the park's upcoming monthly event, the bouquet toss. Hikari explains that it's one of the park's main attractions, where the person catching the bouquet gets to wear a wedding dress adorned with flowers from the park, accompanied by a special photo session with their loved one. Hearing this, Rentaro is intrigued to participate. Hikari shares that wearing this wedding dress has been her dream since childhood, and she's determined to fulfill it, whatever it takes. Thus, they head towards the event area. Upon arrival, Rentaro notices the large crowd eager for the bouquet. Among them is a middle-aged woman, urging her friends from the motorcycle gang, the Confederacy of Gorillas, to catch the bouquet for a photo opportunity with her. Rentaro, puzzled, is briefed by Nano on the gang's history, dating back to the early 21st century. Rentaro appreciates his girlfriend Wikipedia for her informative insights. Seeing the situation, Hikari suggests they team up to increase their chances of catching the bouquet, planning to decide who gets the photo session by lottery, which everyone agrees to. Still, Rentaro is concerned about the formidable competition and advises Shizuka to stay out of the event for safety, a sentiment echoed by Kurain due to Shizuka's small stature. Kasari, meanwhile, uses a potion to increase her size. Rentaro, noting the gang's conspicuous flags, creates his own with a towel and pen, dubbing it Rentaro Family, which embarrasses everyone. He also devises a team war cry to boost morale. The gorillas pause their aggressive demeanor briefly, charmed by Shizuka's cuteness. The event host then takes the stage, announcing the imminent start of the bouquet toss and outlines the rules. The event host emphasizes that any violence among participants is forbidden. He then introduces the person throwing the bouquet, a former soccer athlete turned shot putter, Baba. Rentaro is surprised to see his deputy director there, recognizing her athletic past but unaware of her shot-putting skills. Baba, when asked about her motivation, shockingly declares her intention to throw the bouquet out of Earth's atmosphere to prevent anyone's happiness, causing concern for the host. Nonetheless, the event proceeds with a countdown to the bouquet toss. Baba launches the bouquet, indifferent to the outcome, focused only on using her earnings for strippers. The crowd, including the gorillas, rushes towards the bouquet. Rentaro notices the gorillas' disregard for civility, attacking other participants. The gang leader clarifies their violence is only amongst themselves, part of their chaotic training. She throws one of her members towards Hikari, but Kurain intervenes, deciding to adopt the gorilla's aggressive tactics temporarily. Impressed with Kurain's strength, the gang leader likens her to a gorilla, which offends Kurain. She instructs others to chase the bouquet while she handles the gorilla. The gorillas create a wind tornado with their flags, redirecting the bouquet towards their leader. Rentaro refuses to let them win, confronting the gorillas. Above, Shizuka is seen flying with the help of the Rentaro family flag, her light body lifted by the wind. She catches the bouquet but then starts falling. The girls attempt to catch her, but she bounces off them like human airbags and is then rescued by Rentaro. Seeing they've caught the bouquet, the gorilla leader is furious. Karen thanks her for the fight, moving her to tears and a handshake. Karen also feels relieved she wasn't part of the cushioning group, considering her slender build. The group celebrates their victory, with Hikari musing over who will get the photo session with Rentaro. Hikari explains that she has brought a raffle kit for them to play King Scent. To win, one must pick the toothpick with a red mark at the end. While setting up the toothpicks, she had already devised a plan, anticipating the challenge of catching the bouquet and the need for everyone's cooperation. She suggests conducting the draw before the bouquet toss to avoid suspicion. The marked toothpick has a small, visible cut. Hikari knows picking first might arouse suspicion, so she plans to let someone else choose first, aiming to be second. Nano is selected to pick first. Hikari, knowing Nano values efficiency, believes she'll pick the nearest toothpick. Hikari positions the marked stick away from Nano, confident she won't choose it, and mentally apologizes to the group for her deception. But Nano, valuing efficiency, suggests everyone picks their toothpicks simultaneously. This unexpected move surprises Hikari, and Nano's approach exceeds her expectations. Instantly, all the girls have their toothpicks, and Hikari ends up with the marked one. However, Kasuri, upset, throws a tantrum. Rentaro tries to console her, promising future opportunities. Hikari, feeling guilty for Kasuri's lack of significant memories with Rentaro, offers her the photo session. Kasuri, overjoyed, jumps on Hikari, expressing her love for both her and Rentaro. She suggests it would be nice to see Hikari and Rentaro in a photo together. Apologizing for her outburst, she insists Hikari take the photo session. They decide to take a group photo, a common practice among them. Afterward, Hikari thanks Rentaro for fulfilling her dream, sharing how her life has been a dream since meeting him. Rentaro reciprocates the sentiment. Hikari then makes a surprising request for them to separate. Confused, Rentaro plans to speak with her for clarification. However, he learns Hikari had to leave the park for an urgent appointment. Kasuri jokingly suggests she might have gone to the restroom. Nano inquires if something is wrong with Hikari. Rentaro reassures them and decides to talk to Hikari later. But when he tries to call her, she doesn't respond. All Rentaro can do is open the envelope Hikari unexpectedly gave him. He believes it must contain her address. Indeed, it does, and he arrives at a massive house with a garden, lake, and fountain. Spotting Hikari through a window, Rentaro shouts to catch her attention. Hikari signals him to be quiet, and a security guard approaches to investigate. Rentaro manages to hide just in time. He then receives a call from Hikari on an unknown phone, urging him to be quick as they're short on time. Rentaro asks about the reason for their separation, and Hikari confesses she no longer feels the love she once had for him. She wants Rentaro to move forward without her. However, observing her through the window, Rentaro senses she's hiding something and insists she tell the truth. Hikari reveals her mother discovered her dating multiple people. Despite explaining Rentaro's honesty and her happiness in the relationship, her mother disapproved, took her phone, transferred her to another school, and planned to move the next day. Hikari doesn't know where they're going. Rentaro is appalled, but Hikari explains her wealthy mother doesn't hesitate to take drastic actions. She fears even if they reunite, her mother will continually try to separate them. Hikari's mother then takes the phone, warning Rentaro to stay away from her daughter and threatening him. Rentaro attempts to converse, but the call is abruptly ended. He shouts, trying to draw their attention, but the security guard apprehends him. Rentaro explains he needs to speak with the house's residents, but the guard, following the owner's orders, refuses him entry. Rentaro insists, but the guard reminds him that not everything goes as desired, especially for a teenager with limited capabilities. Meanwhile, Hikari's mother reminds her daughter of the prohibition against contacting Rentaro. Hikari pleads with her mother, promising never to disobey again if it means preventing harm to Rentaro. Her mother embraces her, internally blaming Rentaro for the situation. Dejected, Rentaro returns home, haunted by Hikari's words and the security guard's dismissal of his abilities. Frustrated and feeling powerless, he hits his head against the wall, lamenting his lack of strength, knowledge, money, and influence. He sees himself as just a kid, incapable of being with someone like Hikari. Finding a four-leaf clover, he's reminded of his first encounter with Hikari. He shares his experience with the other girls. Kyron questions why Hikari hadn't spoken up sooner. Kasuri asks Rentaro about their next move, and he declares his plan to infiltrate the mansion and rescue Hikari. Kairin doubts the plan, citing the wealth and resources of Hikari's mother. Nano calculates the plan's success rate as 0. Nevertheless, Rintaro is determined to do everything he can for Hikari's happiness, motivated by the memory of her sad expression in the window. He announces his intention to flee the city with Hikari that night, uncertain of their destination or the duration of their hiding. He asks the girls to wait for their return. Kairin points out the convenience of this plan for Rintaro, as there's no telling when they'll reunite. She volunteers to join the rescue mission, followed by the others' willingness to help. Rintaro hesitates, recognizing the gravity of their decision, but seeing their determination and realizing they, like him, love Hikari, he accepts their assistance. And that's a wrap on our journey through 100 girlfriends that really love you. Thanks for joining me here on Anikazu. If you love diving into this anime with us, make sure to hit that like button and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more anime adventures. Until next time, keep exploring the incredible world of anime. See you in the next video.